Don't Jump podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Simone. I'm really excited for today.
Are you? I'm sad.
Oh, I'm always excited when we're together and hanging out.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, friendship.
Welcome to Don't Jump, the podcast about surviving workplace nightmares. I'm Simone.
And I'm Sam. Every week we dig into the internet's wildest job stories because honestly, sometimes you just need the will to live.
And sometimes you just need to laugh so you don't cry.
So grab your coffee, ignore your boss's emails, and let's get into it.
So, Simone, today's episode is about a topic that I think is very relevant in our shared industry right now, probably very relevant for anyone working in a slightly corporate environment. The topic is layoffs.
Shocker. Yeah, everyone, I want to say 50% of my friend group has recently gone through a layoff or is currently going through some sort of corporate restructuring. It's very scary. It's a scary time.
Have you ever been affected by layoffs?
Not directly.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, thank God. But I do feel like I wake up every day with a looming sense of doom and anxiety because when it's happening so frequently, I think just mathematically, statistically, you don't know what tomorrow is going to be.
Yep.
At some point, I think everybody's going to get got.
I don't know if this will make you feel better or make you feel worse, but I always had the mindset of it will never be me. Layoffs happening all around me constantly. Working in like entertainment / marketing, there's always layoffs. But it wasn't until I actually got laid off in March of this year that I was like, oh, I can get laid off. I felt like I was immune.
Invincible.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say you weren't expecting it?
Was not expecting it. It definitely made, I don't want to say it made sense in hindsight because layoffs never make sense. If a company's making money, if your CEO's making money and you're doing the work, I don't think a layoff is fair ever. But in corporate America standards, like the layoff made sense. So I probably shouldn't have been surprised, but I was very surprised. But once it happened to me, I think it kind of removed the fear from me that I had about layoffs.
Because you survived.
I survived.
Because you went through it, it was horrific,
yes.
And you still came out on the other side of it.
Exactly. So that's not to say that I hope you experience layoffs, but it's to say that
You better not hope
I do not hope you experience layoffs.
I know what though.
But I hope when you or anyone else does experience layoffs that there can be a positive outcome, something on the other side. Because for me, I was in a position of wanting to change what I was doing career-wise, but being unable / unwilling to like break out of where I was at, and the layoffs forced me to do it. So
how interesting. I feel like, and apologies if this is too much of a tangent and off topic, but I have two close people in my life who were recently affected by layoffs, and one of them completely adopted this like mentality of fuck it, I'm gonna be okay. Similar to you, she survived, she figured it out, she started freelancing.
okay.
And then I have another person who, after her layoff, found a job after a really intense 1.5-year search of finding a new job. And in her current role, she is like very anxious, worrying about the next shoe that's about to drop on her. So I really don't know. Maybe it's an individual just reaction. I'm sure it is. It's a trauma response either way. But I feel like friend A, who's like, I'm going to be okay, is probably the best way to rationalize and like go through the trauma of being laid off. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Dark times.
Dark times, and I think we're both blessed in the sense that I've only experienced layoff once. You haven't experienced layoffs yet. Hopefully your friends, this is their first time maybe that they're experiencing it. But that's a great segue into our first story.
Okay.
This comes from our anti-work. User Nate, though, says, I'm 26. In 8 years of corporate employment, I have faced 7+ layoffs, and I have actually been laid off twice. How do companies expect workers to be motivated and invested in success if we are constantly shown how replaceable we are?
Nate, I feel you.
I can't even get a job at one single company that has career potential because every company is so focused on short-term growth, they cut all the long-term opportunities. If I'm not getting laid off, the positions I'd move up to are completely deleted from existence, and I'm suddenly doing the work of 3+ people. First company I worked for laid me off once at 18, 8 months after starting my first full-time job. Then I switched positions to a different office and got laid off again a few years later after surviving 2 or 3 more rounds of layoffs. went to work for a second company, inherited negative metrics and a weak team, and was told after a few months that either I was going to be restructured out or one of my cohorts was. However, the team I inherited had the worst performance, so I'd be first choice. I was brand new and jumped ship because of this back to company one. After more layoffs at company one, I survived them, but still found a job at company three. There, as soon as I started, layoffs started again. This person is bad luck. Then a year later came more. Then this year, another round. I survived all three, but still ended up quitting anyway after I found a new low hours burnout job. I'm just sitting here wondering how employers expect to just keep getting away with this. No wonder we have 1 million less jobs in the economy. I doubt my employers are special cases. And if every employer is laying everyone off, of fucking course there won't be any more jobs. The company I worked for last, on the day they announced 13,000 layoffs, said, "We realize people will be upset by this. We need to redirect that energy into success for the company." In all caps, OP says how. 13,000 people don't even work there anymore. Redirect all that survivor's guilt and fear into numbers, sales, profit, knowing we can be thrown away any second. I'm only 26. I've been working full-time for 8 years, and I faced a layoff literally every single year I've been employed, no matter where I've been employed at. And this has all been going on since before ChatGPT. AI is just a convenient excuse now. How can we expect to continue functioning as a nation at this rate? Jesus Christ, it's grim out here, y'all.
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, it is grim. So some feedback we got from a previous episode was, wow, I can tell you guys are young. And I think...
I saw that comment!
Yeah!
I hope you're watching!
Yeah! And the reason why I bring that up is like, OP is 26 years old and has gone through 1 million layoffs. The economy we inherited, the workforce that we're trying to navigate is very grim. It is very dark. So we have to adjust accordingly. I'm super sad to hear that he's gone through this, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise to have come to this realization at 26 versus 56, because the bottom line is the company is always going to care about their bottom line and not you and your mortgage and your family.
I think the bottom line, too, to get even broader, is that corporations, whether it's the company you work for or the place you are mortgaging your house through or the property managers managing your rental, are always going to care about the bottom line more. Someone brought up the 2000s housing crisis recently to me, and I had flashbacks to being 8 years old and my mom trying to navigate refinancing her mortgage only to have the house eventually foreclosed 10 years later because it was like a predatory, they're all out to get us, not to be bleak. That said, in response to that viewer's comment as well, yes, we're young, but I feel like the experiences that we've had because of when we were born and the age we are now have led us to this point of something has to shift or change. And even if it can't shift or change immediately, we have to at least talk about it because it's debilitating.
If it's not a systemic shift or change, it has to be an internal shift. I do feel like the first step in whatever changes is to ask that question. What is it that companies want us to do if you keep firing us? How do you want us to navigate? It doesn't make sense because so many companies are hitting goals, are making profits, and they're still firing you. And I hate to take it to a dark place because I'm a positive person. You would say I'm positive.
You're very positive.
I am positive.
She's extremely positive.
I am a glass half full type of person, but I'm really struggling to find the meaning in this when it just seems to be greed.
User DDOD says you're not alone. Companies stop pretending loyalty works both ways. They want you invested while treating you like a line item on a spreadsheet. The redirect that energy line is genuinely insulting. Like grief over watching coworkers lose their livelihoods should fuel productivity. It won't get better until something breaks.
That makes me so sad. So then, where does that leave us?
In hell?
No. But what do we do now that we know that? But rent is still due on the 1st. What do we do?
The end goal is to stop pretending that this is fair, to stop pretending that any of this makes sense, to be there for one another.
So are you saying companies would fare better if they led with this is transactional?
I'm saying that companies should be completely removed from the equation, that we as employees need to band together to A, stop policing one another, B, to support one another, like it or not. And I am personally someone who's in the camp of your coworkers are not necessarily your friends, but like it or not, we are on the same team as employees versus the employer.
Yeah.
You know? And when things like layoffs are happening to people who are experiencing hardship, because the higher ups aren't necessarily thinking about those hardships, they're just looking at a spreadsheet and saying delete this many rows, we have to like acknowledge the foulness of it, acknowledge that that person is going to need support.
Yeah.
And how can we support them?
Yeah. That actually sparked something within me where I'm like, I can show up better for people who have been impacted in that way. There's an awkwardness to it. It's hard to navigate that relationship. Even if you care for someone who was more a coworker than a friend and got in the layoffs, there's still like a text message you can send or a job posting you can share or ways to show up for them in like understanding, you didn't deserve this, and there's some guilt that like, I'm still here and I'm sorry that this happened to you, but how can I still show up for you? So that's fair.
100%. And it's keeping community in mind at all times, whether you were friends with that person, colleagues with that person. If you see about an opportunity, whether it's through LinkedIn, whether it's through your current role, whether it's a friend of a friend says, I need a house cleaner, I need a social media manager. One person you know who does that thing, even if you're not close with them, mention them, you know? Like, we don't have to network for the sake of getting something in return. We should network just to like increase community.
Yeah, I feel for OP. Seven layoffs in 5-6 years of professional development. Like, that is a crazy ratio. So I feel for them.
I feel for them hard. I'm not necessarily sure I feel for the next story poster. And I don't know who the user is because they deleted their account, which says something, I think, but it's coming from Am I the Asshole? It says, am I the asshole for not telling my wife I was laid off work? Yeah, you are. Wife's first, the fuck. Deleted says, am I the asshole? Not using a throwaway here, so I will try to keep things brief. My former company, recently went through a round of layoffs and presented multiple departments with a voluntary severance package. Given my role/years with the company, I was offered 6 months' salary to essentially quit. I'm not sure what got into me that day, but upon seeing the offer, I jumped right on it. Okay, I would too. OP, you are the asshole. I'm just going to assume if you're lying to your wife, you're the asshole because wives come first, but sounds like a great offer to me. I know that being in a marriage is to be part of a team, and that important life decisions like this deserve to be communicated with each other. Like I said, I'm not sure what got into me, but being offered $60K to quit was quite the rush. Yeah, I would bleep. Okay, so this was about a month ago. Money isn't tight given I received this up front. Problem is, I never told my wife and have been going to work each morning business as usual. What is this, a Disney show? I plan to get back into the workforce and have been applying to jobs, fully expecting to have an offer within a few months. I leave for work each morning as I typically had, but now I usually spend my day at the local Indian casino, gym in another city, or sometimes just go for hikes. TLDR, am I the asshole for not discussing quitting my job?
Are you seriously asking this question? Are you seriously asking me this? Also, like, $60K is such a large amount of money that all you had to say was, hey wifey, we're fucking rich, we're gonna figure it out for the next 3-4 months,
let's get that pottery business off the ground.
How hard would it have been to be transparent?
Men love to lie.
Men love to fucking lie.
Okay.
No, that's insane. That's a sick story.
I think the comments agree with us. User Shrimpy Snow says, you're the asshole. 1,284,690,000, I can't read numbers, but you are lying to your wife. There is a lot of deception there that can do a load of damage to your marriage. Come clean now. And OP responded and said, first of all, OP has negative 831 downvotes. OP said, I know I'm not being honest with what I'm really doing, but she has never asked me where I'm going each day. She just thinks it's work because she wouldn't have a reason to think otherwise.
You're pissing me off. You're pissing me off. You're pissing me off. And you know how I feel about men. But you're pissing me off.
Wouldn't it be best to wait a few months to line up a job before telling her?
Does it say, like, 32, male? Like, how old is this? How old is this guy?
He does not say. I do feel like...
it sounds juvenile.
It sounds juvenile, and to play
You're not playing devil's advocate for a man. You're not doing that.
I do, like, the person, the beautiful, loving, sweet, perfect partner inside me does think of a scenario where it's like, okay, I got $60K take-home dollars cash. If I could line up a job in a couple months, that's another full-time job, but it's like, I start that job a month from now, and then I get to go and tell my partner, hey, I have $60K cash, and I have a new job where I make more money. Let's go on vacation tomorrow. Wouldn't that be a sick surprise to drop?
The problem is he's going to the Indian casino. Okay, he's not going to the library or on Indeed.com to look for a new job. He's fucking around. So no, this guy, you're really pissing me off. Like, I'm upset. And the one thing I asked of you is to not piss me off. And now I'm pissed off.
Well, what should not piss you off is the fact that the comments do agree. I'm scrolling here. Every single comment, I'm still scrolling. You're the asshole, you're the asshole, you're the asshole, you're the asshole, you're the asshole. I do not sing a single not the asshole, so every single commenter on here is in agreement that OP is the asshole.
Like, are we just super chill that we feel like if our husbands came home and they were like, I took a 60K severance, and you're like, let's effing go. I think that's like a normal reaction. 60K for most people, for a lot of people, it's above the medium income. So if someone's saying, I'm coming home with 60K and I don't really have to work for a year while I casually job search because there isn't really urgency to it, it's a win-win.
Yep.
It's a win-win. I get to stay home with you and cuddle. Like, why are you hiding it?
But he's not staying home and cuddling. He's going to the Indian casino.
Okay, so the root of this
is he doesn't like his life.
Right. And that's a different conversation.
That is a different conversation. We
day.
cover workplace stories, so I'm going to move on.
Yeah. He is the asshole.
He is the asshole. This one does hit close to home for me because it's something I don't know why. You know when you just like make up scenarios in your head that'll never happen, but you're like, let me map out this conversation in case it ever does happen. Do you ever do that? Or is that just my anxiety?
No, I get it.
Okay, well, I do that. And user substantial ad 2583 says, am I the asshole for not telling my friend they're going to get fired even though I know a week in advance? I have imagined this exact scenario before and like never found a solution I liked. They say, my company was going through layoffs and I had access to all the people that were affected. I learned that my best friend was on the list. The layoffs were not going to happen for 1 week. I did not tell my friend even though I knew. Come 1 week later, he's very upset with me for not letting him know. He feels I betrayed our friendship. Am I the asshole?
That's it? That's the whole post?
That's the whole post.
Well, I have questions. A, how did he come to find out? Did you, like, come clean? Because I would have taken that to the grave if I knew and didn't warn him. And then B, we use that term friend incredibly loosely. Because, Sam, if I had access to a list where I'm like, girl, you're about to get got, I'm calling you. You're my friend. Yeah. Like, do we know what friend means? I don't think that you really understand what the nature of friendship is. So yeah, that must be a person he met at work who's more his coworker.
But he says my best friend.
Whoa! That's super bad!
My best friend I call Bestie B because we decided to call each other Bestie B, Bestie Sam. She knows when I have a thought. She knows when I take a dump. She knows when I step outside and I smell a smell I don't like. Like if I even saw her initials on a list at a company that I work for, I'd be like, your initials are on this list. Do you know anything about this? But maybe that's a generational thing. I'm going to spoiler alert. OP was voted not the asshole for this.
Whoa! What? What?
Some people did ask for more info. Snowflake 100000 says more info needed. Do you just work in HR, or were you part of the group who decided who would get laid off?
That's interesting, but I'm telling you this, Sam. I don't care if I'm working for HR. I'm telling my bestie. Fuck HR. You're my best friend. I'm letting you know.
OP says I was part of the group who decided who got laid off.
Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. That is tea.
My best friend would not have gotten laid off. I was part of the group who decided who. I don't care. I will argue to hell. I will know this is not my personal feelings. This is like my best friend is not. If I am part of the decision makers, My best friend is not getting laid off unless there is a videotape of them keying
Hello.
the CEO's car
Yep.
and taking cash out of a cash register,
Hello.
and I can clearly see every inch of their
Yep,
face, and
yep.
they have DNA.
Yep.
My best friend is not getting laid off.
DNA is important there.
DNA is very
Unless
important.
there's a video resurfacing of this non-black person saying the N-word. Unless he's there.
They get laid off.
Yeah. No. Unless it's like outside of the bounds of something that I can defend, you're not getting fired. And now I have more questions.
Mhm.
Is the nature of your friendship purely like a workplace friendship? Did you meet at work? Did you get him the job? I have questions.
Another user did ask, what was your reason for not telling your best friend? And OP said, because I was asked by my boss not to. You know what's so funny? One of my best friends at work got laid off before me from the same place I was laid off. My boss did not tell me. My boss told me after the fact that they knew it was going to happen. But she did not tell me or my friend in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And if she had told me in advance, my friend would have known.
I will say this: when they were doing layoffs at a job that I recently worked at, someone who I wouldn't even consider a best friend or a friend outside of the workplace, like we would only text within, working hours about work and sometimes about not work stuff. But I say this to say the nature of our friendship was centered around work. When she got laid off, she said, hey, just letting you know, if you get any suspicious calendar invites, I got the boot. So I feel like it is, you are the asshole because it's not really human nature, and I would hate to make this gendered because I would like to believe anybody of any gender would want to just warn someone they care about, even if it's just like, you care about them a little bit. I would want to let you know this is where I'm at. That's weird, and I'm super shocked that he was voted not the asshole. What? And this is the thread. Am I the asshole?
It is the thread.
It's not
it is
like
the subreddit. Am I the asshole? But I think people on the subreddit maybe try to be very fair and nuanced in their decisions, because user complex pirate 4264 said info. Why didn't you tell him? Would there have been a risk or disadvantage for you if you had told him? And OP responded, the risk was that if the word had gotten out, it would have caused a lot of organizational upset. Complex Pirate responded, so you basically had to make a decision whether you wanted to be loyal to your friend or to the employer. You chose the employer, I think not the asshole, but at the same time, who do you think might have been more loyal to you in times of need, your employer or your friend?
Bingo!
Because you might lose the friendship over the decision.
Bingo.
So it seems to me that the majority of commenters think that OP is not the asshole for not telling their friend, but they weren't a good friend, and they're like being very nuanced in the language of, okay, you're not the asshole, but also you're not a good friend, you know?
I can accept that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I can accept that, but I also feel like, to me, you're very generous in using the term best friend, because that is not your best friend.
No.
And if he is your best friend, then you've never really had a true friendship, because you would never put friendship above corporate.
If I was in a room and they started talking about layoffs and my best friend could potentially be affected, they would have just seen this. Yeah, keep talking. Yeah.
I'm recording you. I got you.
I'm like, hello?
I got you by the balls.
This is being live streamed to my best friend.
Yeah, I get it. I want to be very like analytical, but I'm not an analytical person. I'm very emotion led, and if I was the best friend, you would never hear from me again.
Yep.
I would blame you personally.
I would personally blame you.
And that's that.
Okay, final story. Simone.
I'm depressed. You're here talking about layoffs.
I know.
And the economy, and it's like, can we just vibe?
But positivity. You have that one friend who is feeling very positive after her layoff experience.
Yes.
You have survived countless
Restructurings.
yeah. Done at the most evilest of times.
Right.
I was affected by a layoff. I'm okay. I'm better than okay. I'm free. I'm fully remote now. Whoop, whoop.
Right.
So I'd like to end this on a positive note. User deleted says, victory post. After 14 months of unemployment, after being part of a mass layoff, I finally landed a job. During the past year, I've dealt with almost losing my house, getting denied healthcare due to changing insurance, getting rejected from hundreds of jobs, and working several different minimum wage jobs. Financially speaking, it was the worst year of my life.
that's dark.
To all those still searching for a job, do not give up hope. This job market is total ass, and it's likely not your fault if you are struggling. Keep applying and keep your chin up. I believe in you. That's a positive thing. That's a victory post.
Oh, that's the victory post.
They said after 14 months of unemployment, after being part of a mass layoff, I finally landed a job.
Yeah. I feel like there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Life is long, and it's human nature to find a way, and we'll be okay. I have a bigger question about the trajectory of America and where we go as a country, as a global society at large, because it doesn't feel like this is slowing down. When we entered the workplace, it was the COVID of it all. Okay, and you can like chuck it up too. Yeah, but it's a global pandemic. And now it's the AI of it all. And it's like, it's always going to be something that puts the everyday American at risk, their livelihood at risk. So it's really like, yeah, we're going to be okay, but what does okay mean? And that's a very individual question. And I have this naive belief that we're gonna work it out, it's gonna be fine, but that's not to take away from the darkness of the situation, the reality of it, of like, this is really, really, it is scary. And I say that because I love stability. I would much rather trade in the reality that we're living in with something that our grandparents grew up in, which was, stay at a job for 50 years.
You have a house, though.
Yeah, and I'm talking as a Black American, right? Like, my grandfather had a career at a local, like, car plant, but he had stability. Like, he was working on cars and building cars, and he was at that job for, I think, like, 50 years.
Yeah.
And that was in the 60s, bitch. That's when they hated Black people. I mean, they still do, but you know what I mean? He could still... I don't think that was a fear. I don't think it was a fear that his job was going to be outsourced to, like, China or somewhere overseas. And it's like, there's so many constant threats that it's like, we just have to have the complete delusion that it's gonna be fine, and not knowing what fine looks like or is.
This pains me to say as a tourist who loves things, there has to be a reckoning at some point, specifically within America, of part of the reason all these layoffs happen, whether you're blaming it on like specific things happening in the market, in the times, in the economy, etc., or whether it's shareholders made a fuck ton of profit, and in order for them to get that profit, we need to lay off like the bottom 10,000 people so that they can have their fucking $100,000, you know? Whether it's that A or B, I feel like there has to be a reckoning of all of us making less money. Again, pains me to say as a tourist who loves things, but I look at European work culture. I've worked at companies where my European counterparts are doing the same work, but they're doing the same work on a longer timeline. Why is the timeline longer? Because they clock out at 5. Because they do not work late. They make less money. They make significantly less money, but the cost of living is also significantly lower. And I feel like those two things have to move in parallel, to where we're never going to have a reduction in the very scary, serious work culture we're existing in right now, where you could be laid off tomorrow, but you could also get a raise for $50K tomorrow, until everything kind of evens out. To your point about what our elders and ancestors experienced, I just feel like that's not even a possibility anymore. Jobs are able to be, like you said, outsourced because they're able to be done remotely now, and so you can go and get someone in a different location who can do it for cheaper. AI. I will say, in one of our earlier stories, someone said something about how like AI is just an excuse, and I actually really liked hearing that, because I hear the word AI now and I want to vomit. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
I'm AI averse. I hate AI. What happens when all the robots take our jobs and no one has money? That's rhetorical.
There has to be a reckoning where we are finding a way to create stability for ourselves, because these companies are not going to offer us stability anymore. What that means, I don't know. How that happens, I don't know. But to your point, yes, that stability helped our ancestors and our elders have a certain way of life. That stability does not exist for us anymore. What does that mean?
Community.
Oh,
It means community.
she wants to be friends.
Not with you. Slow it down. Just kidding. But no, I do think it probably just looks like redefining what community looks like. Maybe we have to, what is that called? Barter. Maybe we have to start.
I love barter systems. I actually really want to learn a trade because, like, even my hairstylist, shout out my hairstylist, I have seen her do that with other people where, like, she'll do their hair in exchange for some service or something like that. Obviously, they have to be good because she's really fucking good at doing hair. So they have to be really good at doing whatever the fuck they do. But, like...
I love that.
I know.
So take away the monetary value from something and just, like...
Trade services.
That actually might be the solution
That
here.
is the solution, but we all have to learn different things. Like, I don't have a craft that I do. So.
Yet.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that's a positive note to leave this on.
I think
Figure
so,
out
yeah.
what community looks like and how to cultivate that.
And to wrap up this post, someone asked, would you please give us some advice who have been job searching a long time, how to handle employment gap in resume or during interview? And OP said, I did a little freelancing work, started my own indie game. I listed both my resume. What I didn't list was the lifeguard training dispensary job and Uber/Lyft driving. My 2 cents on top of that is I do not think any employer is going to see a gap on your resume and go, what's wrong with you? Not in this day and age. I understand that that was a concern years ago for having gaps on your resume, but I personally talked very candidly about being laid off.
You did!
In every single interview I did, and it was never negatively received.
I love that. I love that.
I think there's something to be said for transparency because ultimately I know we're talking on this podcast about like corporations and how they affect our daily lives and how employers can or cannot care about the employees, but regardless, each of those corporations, each of those employers are made up of individual employees who have experienced similar situations, know someone who has been in a similar situation, and if you are telling someone how you were laid off and have been searching for 14 months for a job, and they take that as a negative and mark that against you, that's not a place that ultimately I personally would want to end up working anyways.
For real.
Because that's going to be a bad situation.
That's so fair because I think about, in one of my most recent teams, the people who were onboarded, actually all 3 of them were coming off of very long unemployment stints, and they were still hired, and they're great employees. It's just the nature of the industry, of the economy where we're at. It's not a personal failing. It's just, it is what it is. So I'd love to hear you say that and share that.
Thank you for talking about this topic with me, Simone. I know it wasn't the most cheery topic.
Well, love it. Thank you, Sam. It's been real.
Yeah, XOXO Gossip Girl.
This has been Don't Jump Podcast. Sam here.
And Simone, follow the show, send us your workplace horror stories, and remember,
We're all just doing our best not to jump.
Money,
Money,
ass,
money, money,
titties,
money,
ass,
money,
titties,
money,
ass,
money,
titties,
money, 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 retirement.